Let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about growing up. You're from the Lawton, Oklahoma area, right? Originally?
Well, that's where I was born. My
Okay.
dad was in the Army, and my family is from Oklahoma, a little town called Sentinel in the southwest corner.
Okay.
But I'm an Army brat, so I didn't grow up there. But that's a lot of Army brats. We can only claim our parents' hometown. It's the only anchor we can really
Hmm.
give, but we still didn't grow up there. So it's a very strange question to answer is where are you from? But
Yeah, it's funny. I'm also an Army brat, but I was lucky
ah,
in that my dad kind of got that out of his system before I came along. So
oh,
yeah, so by the
interesting.
time I came along, he was really just National Guard and Army Reserve. So he was kind of in one
Mhm.
spot, just the two weekends a year or 2 weeks a year, and one weekend a month. So what was that like as a kid? Just getting used to new areas and new people over and over again.
Um, well, I also was the youngest in my family, so by the time I came along, my dad could choose to stay places longer. So
Okay.
I ended up staying at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, from kindergarten through sixth grade, which is kind of unheard of. We did move around to different houses and places during that time, but um, I didn't have to do it as much as my older brother and sister, and a
Yeah.
lot of brats have to do.
And Carolina
Um,
had kind of an impact on you as well, right?
oh, for sure. Yeah, that feels like my childhood is North Carolina. And then I moved from seventh grade to 12th grade into Northern Virginia near DC.
Yeah.
And so that was my, teenage years.
I mean, it's pretty much North Carolina, right?
Yep. Although I did get made fun of for having an accent when I moved to the DC
Really,
area.
to Virginia, they made fun of you for having an
Oh,
accent.
yeah. Apparently it was thick.
Wow. Yeah. See, I was in Norfolk when I was in the Navy, so I don't
Oh,
really remember hearing like different accents from the
yeah.
area. And Norfolk is kind of like right there between Virginia and North Carolina, right there on the border. So, um,
Yeah, I just played Norfolk with
yeah,
um with the Wonder Women. We just had a show
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. You guys will be in Texas soon, I think. So I'm excited about that. Um, yeah. So one thing I've read about you is that really the impact of your mom was really the most influential on you getting started in music, right? Like, tell us about that and kind of how she introduced you to the music world.
Well, my mom was an actress. She did musical theater and played the piano and was just sort of the nurturing, silly part of the family with my dad being this, tough army guy.
Yeah.
So
So mom
when he
kept it light, essentially.
she did
Yeah.
so when he would be away, um, she was doing these plays, and I would read lines with her, and I'd go to practice with her or rehearsal with her, and watch that world. And so just seeing it made me realize it was something you could do with your life. Like that was an option.
Yeah.
I mean, she and my dad divorced when I was 9, so she moved away. So she was out of the picture after that, but that time from 9 and under, she definitely influenced me in that way.
And I mean, the divorce kind of influenced you musically too, because you kind of turned towards music as therapy from that time, right?
Sure. I mean, not intentionally, but uh, I just remember as a kid. So on the Army base, we got HBO like early. We had the three channels that everyone
Wow.
had,
Yeah.
and then we had HBO, which was crazy. And but on HBO, like that Buddy Holly movie was out on it,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I watched that. I was just a grade school kid, and I watched it so many times and sobbed every time, and I fell in love with Gary Busey,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
who I thought was Buddy Holly. But
Yeah. That movie impacted me too. Yeah, big time.
yeah,
So even to this day, I'm a huge Buddy Holly fan. Like,
yes,
yeah.
and that got me interested in kind of rockabilly music, and just for sure was a big pull.
Yeah, a lot of folks may not know that you were in a rockabilly band early on, right?
Yeah, that was my first love. Was
So
rock.
that's all from that movie then, huh?
Well, it definitely was the start, but um, I didn't see an opportunity to be in a band until I started dating a drummer. So, and I wasn't singing or doing anything, but he sat me down and helped me kind of develop a singing voice. Like I sang a little, but I didn't do it in front of people. I
Right.
liked singing, but I kind of assumed I would pursue acting, um, just because that's what my mom did. But I was not good at acting. So
Right. Uh,
luckily, I met this drummer, and he kind of he kind of coached me into singing.
Looking back, do you think those times like before you 9 and before, when you remember your mom and helping your mom rehearse, do you think those times in your life helped you be an entertainer later on?
Absolutely, yeah. It was so great to see um, the camaraderie that was going on backstage, and to see even the playfulness between the director and the actors, and when he would correct them or suggest something else, and just to see something develop over time and into a show, having seen it all broken down and all the messy, ugly pieces.
Yeah.
I for sure was fascinated with show business of some sort.
Yeah, I imagine it would help you, especially if you're pretty much an introverted person. Like a lot of songwriters are very introverted. And then
Mhm.
if you're a performing songwriter, you have to be extroverted for 2 hours or however long it is. So you're
Yeah,
essentially playing a part. You're a different person for those 2 hours or whatever. So imagine that those experiences definitely probably helped you quite a bit in those times. You mentioned dating a drummer. When was this? Was this like late teens, early 20s, or?
yeah. Let's see. I think I was a year young for my grade, but it was my senior year, and I turned 17 my senior year. So
So the drum,
17.
so the
But
drummer helped you find your voice, but like when do you think music kind of became more than a hobby, or like something that you could see yourself doing, so to speak?
that same year, because
Wow.
his band kind of broke up. He was in a band called the Vibrato Brothers, and they dissolved and were reforming and needed a singer. And so um, we went to one of those little booths on the beach where you could
Yeah.
record yourself
God,
singing a
I
song.
remember those too, man. Yeah.
We went in and I did Teddy Bear, a Elvis Presley song, and we used it to play for the other musicians to see if they would be okay with me being the singer. And they said, okay. But listen, I was so shy. Like I had severe social phobia. So I could barely talk. And, and, pre-recording that was good for me because I'm sure I would have had a hard time.
Yeah, so like performance anxiety was part of your thing at first. So how do you get over that? Like, at first, because that's a huge culture shock. When you all of a sudden, like, you can love singing all you want, but all of a sudden you got these people that are watching you while you're doing it. Man, that's a huge
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah, it was really hard. And I was terrified for years and years. But I kind of think it was immersion therapy where
Yeah,
I was terrified and miserable for so long, and then eventually realized that like everything that could go wrong had gone wrong at some point, where you trip on stage or
hmm,
forget words or anything, and then that you survived it.
yeah,
And so it just gets less scary. Um, yeah. And then honestly, working with other people is what made me start to have fun, because for the longest time I was just trying to hit the notes. I was just worried about singing perfectly or
yeah,
something. And when I played with other people, I started to see how it could be fun.
yeah.
and that singing perfectly was not what people liked or cared about, and that it was more about, um, I remember thinking about like Mick Jagger. Like, he's not singing perfectly.
No.
Nobody cares. So that's not what it's about. And so to figure out how to just share the story and the emotion of the song, and also be in that moment with the other musicians, just playing a song,
Hmm.
and then from there I began to have more fun.
Was there a dislike of your own voice there too?
Not at the time. Now, when I listen to my voice back then, I have a hard time with it. But um, no, but I might have really been. Uh, I did struggle to sing perfect, or in key all the
Hmm.
time. That
Yeah.
I was still, my skills weren't really developed, but
So it's just about getting around other people and letting loose, and then I mean, once you're around other people, you're not thinking as much, right? So then you can just kind of let loose, and whatever comes, right? Is that essentially what happened for you?
yeah, it was like, specifically, like when I started performing with my ex-husband Bruce Robison, and I got to share the stage with him, share back and forth
Hmm.
singing, who's singing the lead, who's singing the harmony, and then his material was different than mine, and he had a lot of these kind of fun honky tonk songs. So I guess getting to step inside somebody else's vibe um, was what helped me to relax, and then I got to take some of that with me when I would go do my solo stuff.
Yeah.
Just you know,
I love that answer. That is such a cool way of looking at things. One thing I'd love to chat about, being an Army brat myself and having talked to other creative people that have moved around a lot, how do you feel like that impacted your creativity as a kid? Like, being able to adjust to new surroundings, meeting new people, forming new relationships. I imagine all of that had an impact on your creativeness too, right?
yeah, I guess maybe just in that I wasn't afraid to move away. Like, I was eager to move to Austin. I moved to Austin right out of high school to pursue, to be in a band. And that didn't seem wild to me to do something like that. Um,
Yeah, just no fear of just packing up and trying
yeah,
something new.
yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't have any deep roots anywhere, so it was not that big a deal to go
So
somewhere else.